Hey everybody, Tyson Nash here. Just want to give a massive shout out to everyone who tuned in last year to Nashcast. We had an unbelievable time, unbelievable experience, probably one of the toughest things I've ever done in my broadcasting career, but so well worth it. Well, this guy is the reason that we're all here. The team, the fans, this show, all the great conversations we had this year on the Nashcast, all the excitement around the team in this city, and obviously in the great state of Utah, all because of two people, Ryan and Ashley Smith. He talks a lot about his love for the game, what he loved most about this season with the Mammoth and the Utah Hockey Club. He also talks a lot about the first this year, and there was a lot of firsts this year for the franchise. And he talks a lot about what really gets him excited is growing the game in Salt Lake at the grassroots level with the youth. And then we talked about how this deal even came to be, why we're all here today in Utah, why there's a team there. The deal between him and Gary Bettman, how it was done on a handshake deal. No lawyers, no signed contracts. It was all about trust between those two. And we had one heck of a Nash crasher as well for Ryan Smith. You don't want to miss this one, folks. Ryan Smith.
All right, without further ado, we got the boss man in the house. The reason we're all standing here today, he's got the keys, as you mentioned, to every door in the building. And we are going to welcome Ryan Smith to the show.
What's up, guys? Yeah, man.
He is looking.
How we doing?
He is looking sharp. Look at that. Is that the denim tuxedo?
It is. We had pictures today.
Yeah.
The first ever team picture.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are we rocking? And it's like, okay, do you rock this suit? And I was like, actually, I'm going to be around a lot of Canadians.
Yeah, yeah, you do.
We need the full tuxedo.
Yeah, you do. It's like, that is solid. You're
Yeah,
looking
so
good,
I was
man.
like, why not?
So Ryan, let's get right to it. I mean, obviously, you're the brains of the operation. You're the brains of the reason we're on this show today. But could you imagine from last year when you guys bought this team to where you guys are now today, all that's transpired, all the people involved that have done a lot of the heavy lifting? I mean, could you imagine that you're going to be here?
No, I mean, this is a little bit crazy. I try not to have pictures in my head of what it all is supposed to look like because a lot of times you undershoot it. But I mean, it wasn't it hasn't been 12 months since we walked into that hotel room and that ballroom in Scottsdale and said, hey, you're all coming to Utah. And I don't care how many years you're in business or leadership or how many teams you've been on. There's nothing that prepares you for that.
I wouldn't think so.
Because you're looking at all of these people going, okay, who are these people? It's like, hi, I'm Ryan, this is Ashley. Like, I promise you're going to like it. I'm at least 50% sure it's going to work. And here we are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I just don't think you can ever underestimate the power of groups of people.
Right.
And, community and numbers, and they say there's strength in numbers. When you get a community together and you get a group of people together, you can do pretty amazing things. What I love the most is the firsts. How many firsts we have. And I think that, I'm a sick person where I love change and I love never having the status quo, and being in a year where everything is a first is the coolest feeling. And I think the organization's getting used to that, and it's almost adrenaline at this point. I mean, you guys, it's all first. You start rolling this way, and it's like, all right, we know it's going to be wrong when we start. Whatever we do, let's just fail quickly and go and get better every single day.
I guess the big one for me is the fact that when you did talk to Gary Bettman, I mean, the fact that he believed in you and Ashley, right? He believed in Salt Lake and Utah, the fan base here. I mean, what does that mean to you? Just your relationship with Gary, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of a book, right? That's a chapter in a book that I think we all had that experience together, and it was really cool because it was very much like, you're not going to let me down, right? And I'm like, well, you're going to do your part, right? And I'll never forget, I called him the morning of, and I had this burning question the morning of. We're about ready to go in and say this, and I had this question. I had no documents. I hadn't signed anything yet. And we were going to go tell everyone that we're moving. That requires some trust.
Yeah. My goodness.
And I've never done a business deal or something, especially of that size, without, it was just, we were both going. We
Full
were doing
steam
this.
ahead.
And I also think it was probably one of the more creative solutions to the biggest problem that the NHL had at that moment. And to go and kind of go from down here for all the reasons to be where we are and everything that's going to happen. And, and I also think of Utah. Like in Utah, we want nice things. Like every state wants to have nice things. And, we love it when the things that are home for us do really well or in the public eye, whether it's a celebrity, whether it's a player, it's someone you grew up with, BYU today, right? We love watching our state shine on the biggest stage. And I think this was the ultimate, and it was one where I think the fans said, hey, if we're gonna have nice things, we gotta do our part, we gotta show up, and the whole community came together. And it really felt like this was way bigger than us, way bigger than our ownership group. It was really about the state. And, for whatever reason, I think, our group's put in a spot to hopefully bring some nice things to the state.
How often do you talk to Gary about just ownership?
He called me yesterday.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I love
I was
it.
like, what are you doing? He's like, nothing. I was like, hi, Gary. He's like, I'm just checking in. I was like, all right, sweet. Yeah, everything's good.
He's got to be ecstatic, though.
I think so. And I think we're all, like I said, it's first. And we're learning. And, the first game, I remember that first night, he's like, your fans are they're cheering at the right moments. I was like,
He's used to
pretty good.
Arizona.
Yeah.
He's used to Arizona. Well, we got a Nash crasher who wants to have a conversation.
Oh, my
with
word.
ya. So welcome to the show, this man.
oh my word, how is
know.
this?
I know. How good is this, Gary?
This is awesome. Actually, listening to Ryan describe what happened, it was like a walk down memory lane. But frankly, we're ecstatic, and trust probably is the most important element in any relationship. And Ryan and Ashley and I came to trust each other very quickly, and I think it was well founded. Obviously, the trust was well based, and we couldn't be more thrilled to be in Utah. And yeah, we had to go through a lot of hoops. We had to do something together, innovative and creative. But what SEG and Ryan and Ashley did was nothing short of amazing and phenomenal. And the proof is what we're seeing on a regular basis. We're seeing games, I'm watching them from afar, where the crowd is so into hockey and so into the hockey club, you can feel them causing momentum changes in games. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, without a doubt. Gary, I know we got a long history. Usually if I'm talking to you on Zoom, I'm either in suspension or I'm either paying a fine, but this is or a jersey retirement, but now we're with a team, and hockey is meant to be here. Obviously, again, you have to be really ecstatic with what Ryan and Ashley have done in such a short period of time, but the team is right where they want to be, playing meaningful games.
Well, listen, 4 points out playing Buffalo tonight. Last time I checked, which was 10 seconds ago, it was 0-0. This is a big deal game, and the club has a shot at making the playoffs and is excited. And Tyson, you know this, as excited as the fans have been and as embracing as they've been of the club and hockey and everything around it, the playoffs is a whole nother level, and anything can happen. And so at least running down the stretch, this is going to be fun. This is going to be exciting, and big things can happen. And if not this year, this team is built for the long term. It'll be next year. But it's a great story. It's great to see, and frankly, we couldn't be more thrilled to have Ryan and Ashley and their partners, and to be in Salt Lake City. This is for us a perfect result on something that we had to fix. And again, I'll always be indebted to Ryan and Ashley, and I'll always trust them.
No, Gary, I mean, so much was happening so quickly, we haven't had a lot of time to kind of inhale. And I hope we never do, because we're gonna keep doing everything that we're doing. And I love that Gary just picks up the phone and calls and says, hey, just checking in, see how you're doing. And that's the type of relationship that you've got to establish, because you know, it's not always going to be straight lines along the way, and you never know. But, you know, I think hockey is definitely, I mean, live events in general, if you look at it since COVID, I don't think we haven't had a packed house on any live event. I think, you know, it's something that if you zoom out, you're bullish on live events. Most people are. And then if you ask anyone, what is the best live event?
Hockey's up there.
A lot of people will say that. And so you know, and our fan base is definitely seeing that. And so we're super excited right now.
Ryan's articulation of what Utah means, what hockey means, what the hockey club means, the relationship with the community, his vision and the organization's ability to execute took a situation that we thought would be good and took it to a whole nother level and made it great. And I only see great things for this team and this city with the relationship for hockey. And it's because you, Ryan, had the vision and the ability and the confidence to execute to make it all happen.
Well, Gary, thank you so much. Honestly, I know you've been doing this job a long, long time. 32 years, best commissioner in pro sports in my mind. We had a couple fights along the way, but I'll tell you what, you are doing great things. The players, the league, it's never been a
Hey, Gary, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
What do you think of this thing that we're doing right here?
I love it. I'm watching the game. I'm on the screen with you guys talking. But this is where we're evolving to, and based on your background and the other businesses you have, this is part of cutting edge. How to connect fans with the game, how to have the game on, make it a broader experience, let them get more insight into the game, into ownership, let them learn more about you. This is all good because this is the type of connectivity that our fans in all sports want. And I'm thrilled to see you do it.
Well, thank you, Gary.
All right, Gary.
Appreciate you.
Good to
as
see you.
always.
Appreciate you, man.
Goosebumps, man.
Yeah, geez. As a lifelong Utah man, oh my God. Ooh,
I feel like I'm talking to Tony Robbins here.
Yeah.
I know, hey, thank you. I know we could be here all night with you. I think we gotta
We'll
let
do
you
it
go.
again. You
Oh.
know, I am around.
Yeah,
so.
I know. On the glass. Why on the glass?
Why on the glass?
The worst seats.
That's a good question. I don't know different yet, but I'll figure it out.
But you're learning.
And to be honest with you, we're hosting a lot of people.
Yeah. Super cool.
Every night.
I need your Rolodex. Big time.
Let's go!
There he is. Curly, baby.
Yes.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go. This is
That
my
is
favorite
sick.
part. Like, and look,
No, you
there's
can't
so much of this that is about Utah. This is not accidental. There's a reason why Utah's on the chest.
leave. Yeah.
And as we come up and formally figure out the naming process or announce it, you know, a lot of what we're working on is how do you maintain that thing that pulls us all together.
Right.
And
People
so
are rallying around this stuff. This swag, everything you guys have done has been absolutely top notch.
and I guess lastly is like, you know, I'm a little bit of a point person for a larger group of people. But what Chris Armstrong's done, what Bill Armstrong's done, Caroline, Mike, the Jazz organization, holy cow. You know, when you walk in and you say everyone's going to have double the job now, I mean, and then to see really, truly, like, almost people get that same adrenaline rush and go, wow. I mean, those 11 days in a row in February, that was gnarly.
Well, thank you.
gonna be special.
Thank you. We didn't even talk about the team yet.
Yeah.
So, yes, we have to have you on again.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
We'll
And
see
thank you for
All right,
everything.
guys.
All right, we're hot. We're live. We got the gunslinger, Dylan Gunther. Obviously, not great terms, right? We'd love to have you on here at other terms. You're injured right now, but how you feeling? How you doing?
Feeling better, yeah.
Yeah?
Happy to be on the show.
You're looking good. You're looking limber. Hair's done. You got the A suit on.
Well,
You're excited for the Nashcast.
I'm trying. Yeah, it's a
Like,
big
what?
day.
We're usually a little more casual, just
Right, I didn't
for
get
so you
that
know, for
vibe,
next
but
time.
I
Yeah.
don't know, yeah.
Yeah. Randy River, that bad boy. Is that an Edmonton, Alberta suit, huh?
It might be, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right, Edmonton, Alberta. This guy's from my hometown to Alberta boys.
That's right.
Learn to play. We got to ask you, we're doing a massive learn to play initiative here in Utah, trying to get the kids out. How did it start for you as a youngster?
I think just everything I've ever known was hockey. I mean, every kid plays hockey growing up at Edmonton, and you know, I grew up with a stick in my hand, so everyone played, and I just kind of fell in love with it.
Minus 8,000 up there, so you got no choice. But with outdoor rinks, ponds, all of it.
Yeah, all of it. Outdoor rinks,
West
ponds,
Edmonton Mall.
Yeah, a little bit of that too. But,
They've got great water slides too when you're not working on your game.
Yeah, one of the best in the business.
There he is.
There he is, little
Yeah,
gunner.
youngster.
Young juice, bringing the heat there, but yeah, no, I spent a lot of hours on the outdoor ice.
What about your stick? I know the sticks are very personal. We have
We
yours.
happen to have it right here.
Oh,
the
there it
weapon,
is.
the weapon, the magic wand.
There's the old girl.
Oh yeah, the old baby, eh? You got gunner on it. But how do you pick your flex and the length of it? Like for all the kids at home, your curve. I mean, it's all personal preference. I
Yeah,
know.
just practice. I mean, I shot a lot of pucks growing up, and I haven't changed my stick, you know, since I was a kid. It's just
Really?
kind of the next line up every time. And I've used this same model for like 4 years, but yeah, just a lot of repetition and just never change it.
A lot of practice. A
Yeah.
lot of practice.
Maybe just hold your stick up right here so people can get a look at the curve there, right?
Yeah, let's get a good
yeah.
shot there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Not too big.
Do you shoot off the heel or
Just
the
a
toe
stock.
typically?
Nah, off the toe. I think
Toe.
heel's kind of old school. You probably shot off the heel.
Well, if you've seen my stats, I didn't
Middle
shoot
toe.
much.
Yeah,
I
The
used
footage is kind of grainy.
I
It's
think
hard to tell.
I used a broom back
you
in,
could use the
back,
fat
in,
blade.
back in the
maybe.
day. Oh yeah,
I got that right.
it wasn't pretty.
You made history, first ever goal in Utah Hockey Club history. How'd that
Yeah.
feel?
Pretty cool. I mean, they had the towels out for that game. It was like crazy loud. We didn't really know what to expect, and I mean, to be honest, we hadn't really played in front of. I'd never played in front of like a crowd rooting for you like that in my career. So.
Not the mullet.
No, not like the mullet. So it was pretty cool. That's definitely a goal I won't forget. Yeah.
Was that something like in your mind? You're like, I'm a big goal scorer. I'm gonna bury this one. I'm gonna be the guy.
Yeah, I think everybody wants to score a goal.
Yeah,
like
walk
that,
us through it.
Here we go. I mean, just a nice breakout. Early in the year, everyone's a little nervous, anxious. Shot it from a little ways out and just went in. So I think everyone wants to score goals like that, and you know, it kind of helped us get off to a good start too.
Well, it's such a great whole play, like the breakout that starts in your own end.
He wants it though. Watch this, the
Yeah,
old
yeah,
beaver tail. He
yeah.
slaps a stick on the ice.
little-
Give it to me.
Yeah, I mean that's not the best shot, but hey.
How do you get so much on that? That was like that would have been a muffin if I shot that.
I
Like,
don't
that would
know,
have
just-
broke a pane of glass.
Just practice, I guess. I think a little clap from Bear there. He's happy.
Oh, he
so,
was pumped. He was pumped.
Yeah, I think just a lot of practice. Worked on it a lot, and being able to shoot from kind of different spots in your feet also.
He's won a gold medal. He's won literally everything there is to win. So congratulations, Dylan Gunther.
I guess, though.
We're sure you're going to win a lot of awards in your career, but we can't imagine many more of them will be quite as vaulty as this one. There you go. Yeah. Congrats. You earned it.
Buddy,
Yeah.
well done. Well done. You can even drink out of that. You're 21 now, right? Yeah.
Put it right next to the Nutcracker in your house. I think it'd be a great
Yeah,
place for it.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys.
Enjoy the rest of the game. Bring us a big W, would you? I don't know if it gets any better than this. How about bringing in the most popular player in Utah right now, the Spicy Tuna? You're wearing the shirt. Liam O'Brien in the house. Liam, get in here, buddy. The big man.
We got a highlight reel for
Hey.
you, man. We got to check this out.
We need like a Rocky Balboa theme song for O'Brien coming in here, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the show, my man.
Thanks, fellas.
How we doing?
Doing great. Yeah, it's a big game tonight for us. So
It has to
doesn't
be.
get any bigger.
It has to be killing you. Killing you. I know it's killing Coach. We talked to him yesterday at practice. We could use the big tuna in this game because that big body, the physical play, it's got to be killing you not playing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, these are the games that you want to be in. These are the types of games I think I strive in too. So
Yes.
you know, but you know, we got 20 guys going out there tonight. They're ready to go. So.
Love it.
So I got the brace right now. So I got to wear stretchy stuff.
I like it.
I almost ripped my pants at home there.
That's the money jacket, though.
It is the money jacket.
It's
It's
a
the money
winner.
jacket, yeah.
Winner, winner, chicken
Yeah.
Put
dinner.
that behind glass one of these days
Oh,
here
yeah.
at the Delta Center.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
that was
show-
what got the party started.
Show the folks at home. Get a picture of these guys' knuckles. Look at the knuckles. That's not for playing the piano, folks. And those are healed almost.
Yeah.
Look at those things.
Those are healed up,
Here,
actually.
Dude, give us one of those.
But yeah, no, helmets.
That's gotta feel good to put the ring on right there. That's gotta be a little tricky.
Yeah, I mean, I wear the ring rarely just because we take it off and on so much,
Yeah.
and I'd lose it. So
Yeah, that's why I got the rubber one.
my wife's okay with it, so she lets it fly.
It's probably hard for you to wheel around town without people like not noticing you, right? I mean,
So,
you're a,
yeah.
a big man on top of the hair.
The
and
beard
my
patch,
God,
yeah.
Oh, it's funny, like coming from Arizona where, it just wasn't like that. Now, if I go to the grocery store, if I go to a restaurant or something like that, there's usually a high percentage chance that somebody comes by and says
Yeah.
hello or wants an autograph or picture or something like that. But, I think it's cool. It's a lot of fun and just shows how great of a fan base we have.
Yeah.
It's funny, like my wife is like, I don't understand why these people like you so much. Like, I don't get it.
Undrafted, dude. I love your story. The perseverance, all the things you had to go through to make the National Hockey League. I mean, I know you had a good junior career, a great relationship with Andre Tourney, but just talk about kind of your story, just growing up undrafted and how hard you had to work to get here.
Yeah, I mean, that story in itself was crazy. I would even say my junior career was pretty average, and I just had it was a summer between my 19-year-old year in junior and my overage year, my 20-year-old year, and I remember I was like, this is my last year. Like, I need to make a jump. Like, I need to get a lot better, and I had a really big summer that summer, and I ended up getting a tryout with the Capitals. And so I was supposed to play my overage year in Sherbrooke for the Phoenix. And I was all set up there, billet family, like, I was actually in a university there, everything. I was all set up. And so I go to camp and I just say, screw it, like, I'm gonna fight as much as I can, and I'm just gonna stir the pot and just play as hard as I can every opportunity I get. I didn't actually think I was gonna stay there. I thought I'd end up getting sent to the minors, but Barry Trotz, I remember, I'll never forget, Barry Trotz brings me into the office. This is 3 days before the season starts, and he says, hey, Obi, like, how'd you feel about, playing your first NHL game against the Montreal Canadiens on so-and-so?
You're gonna make me cry, dude. So what was that phone call like? I mean, who did you call first after walking out of Trotz's office? You're like all smiles.
My parents.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Mom and dad?
Yeah, my parents. I was staying at like the hotel across the street, and I just walked out of I signed the contract and everything. It all kind of happened together, and I just had tears in my eyes, and I called my parents, and was like,
How about your mom and dad? Obviously, I know you talk a lot about them. They were at your first ever game, but just the impact that they had as parents, right? They're everything to us.
yeah, I mean they've been there the whole time, all those drives to the rink in the morning, and got some funny stories with my old man. Like, I was playing out in Saskatchewan, and I was playing at a place called Notre Dame, Saskatchewan, and I just kept breaking my sticks, and obviously you guys know it's expensive. Like, it gets expensive, and so he got frustrated. So where I lived in Saskatchewan was like this tiny town of Wilcox, population. With the school, the people that were living at the school, maybe like 400 or 500 people. Super tiny town, but great spot. And the only way you could get hockey equipment was if you taxied it from Regina. So it was like a 30-minute taxi. He had to like taxi these sticks to me. So I'm thinking I'm getting, S19s or something nice. And I open up the taxi door, and it's a bunch of like Sherwoods. Like, couldn't break them if you tried. So anyways, I don't know. I think I might have had like maybe 10 or 15 games left in the season. So I used those for that. Then we ended up going to the TELUS Cup, which is like the midget national championship in Canada. And so he went out and he bought me an S19. And cool story was we were in the final, and we won 3-2. Malcolm Subban was in net, scored the G dub.
No,
so
what, with that stick?
with that stick,
Oh!
with the Sets 19.
Well,
so
well, hold the phone. Hold the
Yeah.
phone. I think someone wants a rebuttal on this one. So we got a Nash crasher coming in here.
there they are.
There's Sean and Susan. Welcome, you guys.
Nash
Welcome
girl.
to the show.
I'll tell you right now, that year he broke 22 sticks.
That
That's for
dents
sure
the
would.
wallet.
22 times 300. You do the math.
Unreal, unreal. What can you guys tell us about Liam as a young kid? Was he as crazy as he is now? I mean, baby spicy tuna. What was he like as a kid?
He was shy, strong-willed, really strong-willed. But he had a shy side to him, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's gonna believe that, but he was. Yeah. But it was his perseverance and his determination and
Yeah, strong-willed for sure. He a big brother.
really
He's got
good.
3 younger siblings, and he was always the consummate big brother. But good student. One of the kids in the class that would always look out for the ones that didn't always fit in. Probably not a big surprise in terms of how he was, because he's like that off the ice. You know, when he steps on the ice, if you look at his tattoos, there's an on-off switch on his wrist. And I think the rest of that when he goes on the ice, but when he's off the ice, he's still that way.
So I guess, Mom and Dad, you guys aren't surprised at all that he is the most popular player here in Utah. I mean, everywhere this guy goes, grocery store, restaurants, people want to talk to him, obviously, and just say thank you for the energy, the excitement that he brings on the ice.
Not surprised. I would say the performance at the initial meeting when the team arrived in Salt Lake City for the first time and met all the fans at the airport, and then ended up at Delta Center. We were at home watching, and I would say that his performance that night came to us as a big surprise.
That was crazy.
We were
Yeah.
blown away by it.
Who is
It
that?
was completely unscripted, but wow, it was like,
Yeah.
spicy tuna took on a life of its own. It was pretty exciting for us, but that was a surprise, but not a surprise that he's become a fan favorite as he's been everywhere, really. Hershey is beloved there, and even his short time with Colorado, they really gravitated to him. So I think fans appreciate someone that goes and competes and works hard and is a good teammate and is a bit of a protector.
Mom and Dad, thank you guys so much for joining us on the Nashcast. We're having a ton of fun. We'd love to see him on the ice. I know he wants to get on the ice. They need him on the ice. But thank you guys, everybody, for being here.
You guys come to Halifax to visit us.
I would love to. Best golf on the
Yeah.
planet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll take you to Cabot.
Yeah.
The beer's pretty good too, Nasher. The beer's pretty good here too.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you, Mom and Dad. Appreciate it.
We're here at the next gen game. Like, how excited are you about the future of hockey, maybe specifically here in Utah?
Yeah, and I think that's what we want to focus on as players when we're going into the community and stuff, is trying to grow the game. And I think it's gonna definitely take a leap with us being here and the more rinks that are built and everything like that. I saw something that Ryan wants to build even more rinks, and
Crazy, isn't
it's
it?
awesome, and it's a place where hockey belongs.
Yeah.
Like it's a winter sport city, and I'm just excited to help the game grow here, and it's exciting.
All right. Well, thank you, my man. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming on
Thanks,
the show.
guys.
As
Appreciate
always,
it, Nasher.
always so much fun. Fan favorite, Liam O'Brien, spicy tuna in the house. Get healthy, okay?
Nope,
we
nope.
need you on the ice.
We had no hot mics today, which was good.
Yeah.
No hot mics.
That's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Always hot. Always hot.
Gotta be careful.
Well, thank you.
Well, we had to have this guy on, one of my old line mates, one of my old teammates. He protected me and protected us all, really, for a long, long time. I kept him employed, so he can thank me for that. A bill is in the mail. He had over 300 pro fights in his career, as tough as they come. He's in the battle of his life, sadly, also acute leukemia. He just went through a bone marrow transplant, so this guy has been certainly through the ringer. He was on the show, but we had supporters coming in for Nash Crashers. Stu Grimson, a guy he fought 11 times in his career and never lost once, so he says. We also had Hall of Famer Chris Pronger on, my former captain with the St. Louis Blues. He comes in for story time. Jamie McLennan, and we also had Paul Bissonnette, one of the biggest personalities in the game as well. So an interview you do not want to miss. That's Kelly Chase.
Chaser, we have a special guest, the Grim Reaper.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Hey, what's going on there, Pink Eyewear? How you doing, brother?
Hey, listen. It's weird that we're talking in Salt Lake right now, isn't it?
Oh, it's a riot. That's an absolute riot. I tell everybody I know that's where my career started. I mean, you guys are in for the best. They're in for the best. That's going to be
I wish he weighed that weight right there that he is right now. When I met with
my ass at this weight.
I would have tossed you around like a dish rag. This guy's playing in Salt Lake, okay, for Calgary's farm team. And I've known of Grimmer because of Junior, and he played in Regina, and I was in Saskatoon. So we get on the ice, Twister's like, hey, listen, I'll handle him. I go, no, I got him, don't worry. And so I tie him up pretty good. And Grimmer is, at the time, he wants to like knock your head off, but he wants to like put you in this perfect position. And while he's putting you in this perfect position, meantime, I'm ripping him with a couple lefts and some rights. And so he never really gets set, and it's just pissing him off. So I kind of get him a little in the first fight. The second fight we have, he's like, we're fighting again. I'm like, all right, well, that wasn't so bad. So I'm going to fight with him again, right? Meantime, he's like, I'm going to get a hold of him. Well, he reaches out and drops his hand in my jersey from 8 feet away. And I can't even get to him. He's just smashing me. So I figure I'm going to make this move inside and get a hold of him and throw with my left. And as soon as I start throwing with my left, bang, I get hit with a right hand and breaks my nose. Okay? And so we fight, and I've never had my nose broke before, but I knew it was broke. Anyways, I get in the locker room. We've got this trainer, Tommy Nash, who I don't know what he's thinking. But anyways, he runs down to the staff in Salt Lake and says, we need a doctor. Chase's nose is all over his face. So there's nobody in Salt Lake that doesn't know my nose is broke by the time he gets back to the locker room. Okay? He comes in, he takes those chopsticks and he shoves them up to my brain up here, and he gives them a crank, and my nose is literally like gushes blood, but it straightens out. And I'm sitting there for a second. I'm like, oh my God, that hurt. And so we go out for the third period. They're like, I'd suggest you don't go out. I'm like, yeah, good one. We go out for the third period. I'm lined up beside him. He starts pushing me to the inside. I'm pushing with him. He gets his arm over top of my arm and goes bang and elbows me right in the face and puts my nose literally right under my eye again. So I'm like, that's it. I just snap. And we're fighting again for the third time. And every time I fight when I'm out of control, I end up hurting myself. And I end up smashing my hand on something. Anyways, so we have 3 fights in Salt Lake. And then we have...
Chaser, one sec. Chaser. I know you can talk a starving dog off a meat wagon, but hold the fort. We got another guest here. We got another guest with a nose that...
They'll let anybody on this show.
There you go.
They're not getting prettier. Speaking of fighting with Biz, I wish I was in that parking lot.
Biz,
I had one of them, buddy. I would have been
wingers,
guys.
Biz, let us know if you need a couple of wingers your next time at Houston.
Yeah.
And Chaser, like to throw it over to you, buddy. You're such a warrior, man, and you look unbelievable, by the way.
You look great, buddy.
You look incredible, and everybody in the hockey community is thinking of you, man. And I can't think of anybody else who does more for the hockey community and even the fans more than you do, especially with the St. Louis Blues alumni. So I know you played with Nasher as well, and you're a legend in the game, buddy, and we're all with you, man. We're all with you in this fight.
I appreciate it. I've been lucky. I had a lot of good mentors around me, so I'm pretty lucky. And it's funny because you talk about the hockey community. We were just talking about what the league does for cancer. Hockey fights cancer, and it's funny how the support you get when something like this happens. It's nothing to wake up in the morning and have 100 text messages from people that are in the hockey community. So when you talk about it being a unique brotherhood, you don't really know until something like that happens to you personally, and then you just you're blown away by the support you get. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Chaser, you're right about that, but you gotta pay respects or pay off what Biz is saying. You reap what you sow in this life, and I'll tell you, buddy, of all the people I've played with, you invest in the relationships that you have formed over the years. You maintain those relationships, and you go out of you're one of those guys that's gone way out of their way to impact folks by virtue of the platform you were given as a professional hockey player. I was so impressed, and I played with you in 2 different spots, but the time you spent in the community, causes like Best Buddies and things like that. I mean, it's just it's coming back to you in that way, my friend. Is the point that I want to make. Credit to you. Credit to you, and it's the way you've invested in every community I've ever played in.
Well, since this
Like
is
a man, my friend.
since this is the Nashcast, Nasher, what's your best Chaser story? Maybe like your first training camp.
Oh,
with him,
dude.
like,
Hey, yes. I don't have enough time to tell that story, Biss. I know you got to roll here pretty quick, but it was an ugly one. It was the reason I made the NHL. I took so many lefts. I was begging for a right. I finished 3rd in that fight, and my nose is a little bigger than Chaser's, and it was actually wrapped around the back of my head. So that was the story on that one. That was Kelly Chase. You don't hit his teammates. I can tell you that. It was Pavel Dimitra. But Biss, I got to ask you, we're just glad you're okay, buddy. I know you got to go. We're just glad you're okay. I know that was an ugly situation, but is there a GoFundMe page anywhere for you?
No. I think we're selling T-shirts on Barstool of the guys' mugshots, and we're actually going to be donating the proceeds to the Leighton Accardo Foundation that you were very strongly involved with, and also the Matt Schock Foundation. So just trying to bring awareness to minor hockey and grassroots hockey in Arizona as a result of this chaotic event that happened this week. I tell you what, boys, I would have loved for you to be in that parking lot with me. Because it would have been a lot different story.
Biz, if you need Grimmer's always good on one wing, and I can call Twister and bring him out of the weeds if you want the big man. It's always nice. There'll be no race. There'll still be a race for Chase in the parking lot because they used to come after me instead of him. But I'll tell you what, it'll be a lot more even when you get out there.
I would have loved it. I would have loved it.
Who doesn't need much of an excuse? Doesn't need
No,
much.
he doesn't.
No.
He'll probably pay for his own flight.
We love you guys and continued success. And once again, Chaser, keep fighting like a bastard like you always do. And the hockey community is behind you, man. We love you.
Appreciate it, boys. Thanks for the support.
Thanks for coming on, Biss.
Hey,
anytime, buddy. See you soon.
yeah. Hey, fellas, I got to sign off too. I'm at a celebration for my youngest. She got engaged 2 days ago.
Oh, congrats,
So,
Grimmer.
the best to you and hockey in Utah. I speak from the heart. It's a marriage made in heaven. It's such a great market. The people there are wonderful. They got a passion for the game. You guys are off to a great start. And Chaser, my friend, you keep scrapping. I'm going to see you real soon. Okay, buddy?
All right, cheers.
All right. Love you guys.
Kelly, we did the math on you before the game. We saw you've spent over 2,000 minutes in the penalty box, and I got the calculator out. I figured out that's about 33 hours of your life in the penalty box. What were you doing in there? You spent about a day and a half of your life in the box. What were you thinking about? What did you get done in there?
Could have wrote a
Well,
book.
it's funny you say that because you got real close with the officials in the penalty box. And one of the things I learned early in Chicago, I became friends with the Chicago. I was in there a lot in Chicago, and I got hit with a full beer right in the face, right in the nose. The very first time I was in Chicago Stadium in a box, and I was like, after the fight, I had fought Wayne Van Dorp, and they were yelling over the glass. I was yelling at him, and I got pelted with a beer. And I learned there was a way to sit in the Chicago Blackhawks penalty boxes because it had the short glass, and if you got in the one corner real tight, it was hard for them to drill you with a battery or a beer or whatever they would throw at you, right? Like literally the shit they would throw at you, right? So I was actually taught by the guys, hey, you got to get real tight in this corner in here and sit tight back and, kind of lean forward a little bit on the glass on the left. And you won't get hit with anything. I'm like, Jesus, there's a way to sit in the penalty box in this place.
The subtle nuances of the game, right?
That Chicago building, Chaser, back in the day, didn't it have stairs that you had to walk off the Zamboni entrance and down the stairs?
You went down a set of stairs. Yeah, it was funny. Like, you get in a fight and you were exhausted and the lactic acid's just burning and you just got to make sure, like, you don't fall the first 5 steps because the fans could still see you, right? Just had to make sure you didn't do a header down the stairs because they were so steep. What a great place to play, though. Like, the stadium seating was literally stadium seating. It was like opera seating. Imagine the top tier of the deck coming right out over the ice surface almost, you know? So it was just this place where, you know, you could hear the fans in the upper deck just like you could on the lower, and it was complete chaos in there for the first 10 minutes of the hockey game. And then depending on how the game went, it could be more chaos at the end. It was a special place. It was the most unique building that I had ever played in.
Before we let you go, Chaser, I know preparing for this interview, I laughed, I cried, watching all the tapes of you, all the podcasts you've been on, and you're fighting your ass off. And I know the biggest reason that you are fighting for is your family. You know, your 3 boys and Razor, who have been with you through thick and thin. So we love you, buddy, and get better soon.
Yeah, I'll be good. I just got, like I said, I got a plan now. I just got out of the hospital, sounding a little bit weak in my voice, but feeling pretty good. And I gotta get through about another 2 weeks of the real sickness, and then go back in and let them pour it to me one more time. Because when you're in the hospital, it's not bad because you have everything at hand. Whether you need, you know, if you need to pick me up, whether it's plasma or your platelets or whatever, it's right there. When you're at home, you're a little vulnerable. It's susceptible to some stuff. But look, I have no doubt I got the greatest care. Stikeman's Cancer Institute's been unbelievable. And I got great people around me. Like you said, my family alone, they're all here at Thanksgiving. And it's been great seeing the boys. And of course, you know, the hockey family itself is second to none. So my wife's probably getting sick of me. I've been at home about 20 minutes and she's tired of me already being here. But
I feel her pain some days.
Yeah. Well, you've seen her more than I have in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't mind either. I don't mind.
It's only fair.
I love you, buddy, and thank you so much. Me and Austin, you know.
You're awesome, Kelly.
Appreciate your time and your stories. Best storyteller by far there is. So thanks, Chaser. We love you, man. Kelly Chase in the house. This guy, the toughest guy that I've ever played with, pound for pound, one of the toughest to ever play the game. 350 pro fights in the National Hockey League. Not a pretty face, though. My goodness, no oil painting, but he is in the house with us. He's in one heck of a fight, so let's bring him out. Kelly Chase.
Behind door number 1. Here we go.
It's like the Price is Right around here.
It is.
What's up, my brother?
I got to clear something up, though. I didn't have 350 fights in the National Hockey League. They count your minor league fights, and they count your junior fights as pro.
Well, there you go.
So 350 fights. But, you know, they don't count your exhibition ones either, or the ones I had at training camp. When you got third.
When you put my
parking lot afterwards.
When you put my nose on the side of my face. Oh, buddy, we are so happy to have you.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Let's roll up the sleeves and get after it.
The Nash cast is on. You're kind of scaring me with those bad boys.
Well, don't be. I mean, the arms or the hands?
Knuckles too.
Oh, okay.
It's not from playing.
They're not very big.
The gun show
They're not
right
very
now.
big, but they're sharp still. Okay.
You shook my hand. I felt it.
But if there's one left in me, I'm not going to waste it on him.
And this is why. Take a look, folks. Look at Chaser's highlight reel. He brought this one from home. You and Ray Lynn put this together for the show?
I don't even remember this one. So the fact that that's the 2 Russians, Igor Korolev, who was killed in the crash in Russia, that passed me that puck. I love that guy. And Prokhorov. And that's 1 or 2.
You look like a goal scorer there. What is going on?
Coaches never used me properly, buddy. I was a goal scorer. They just never used me properly.
I never saw one of those in practice, let alone a game.
Is this a goal?
No.
Ooh, this isn't a goal. This was Christmas time. I was in the giving season at this point.
Knuckle sandwich.
Looked like a lump of coal to me.
Oh, well. Yeah, it was one of those ones where, actually, that's Brian Marchman. We don't have him. Unfortunately, we lost him. He was a tough guy. He played hard. And he got me the game before, and I told him in warm-up that there was probably going to be a little bit of an exchange, and he didn't want to get into it. I did let him. He didn't have to participate.
Chaser.
Jeff Bukaboom there with the Rangers.
He got you at the end when you're on the ice. I love it.
Yeah, I know.
That was for me for training camp.
This one here, I think, might be in Dallas.
What were you saying here?
Well, I was getting tossed out of the game, but my pants had ripped with my tie-down wrapped around it. I have no idea what I'm yapping about there. But that's probably because Nasher started something, and Twist and I are on the bench babysitting him. And then he definitely didn't score, so he's probably sitting on the right side of me, but they cut him out of the picture. Actually, no, or you'd see his nose in the frame. It's not him there.
Look at that. Porcupine Plain. I mean, do you have to have the matching hair to the name of your city?
I know. That's a Maine, man. If you can grow that mullet and have it sticking up like that,
that is
home of Porcupine Plain,
Business in the front,
Saskatchewan.
party in the back, right? Jake?
That's exactly right.
That's what I'm saying. No oil painting, that's for sure. But my goodness, look at the stats on you.
Is
King
that game-winning
Clancy?
goals? Only four? That's a pretty. I guarantee you never had 4 game-winning goals.
I didn't have 4 goals in practice, let alone a game.
Yeah, the Jack Buck Award, that was a lot of fun. King Clancy Award, that's the only one Gretzky hasn't won.
2 guys cut from the same cloth, it seems
Well,
like.
and can you imagine though, like, I played with this guy, Tony Twist on the other side. I had literally diplomatic plates. I could do whatever I wanted. You owe me, by the way. I kept you employed for a couple extra years. You were kind of at the end of your rope. And
You owe me because Twister wanted to throttle you by the end of the year. He was so tired of your mouth going.
I made it easy on you guys.
Stopped.
Oh, no, he came here.
I got my own show, though. Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would've thought?
Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? All right, boys, we got a hockey game.
Let's get a hockey game going.
St. Louis Blues, Utah Hockey Club. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a Nash Crasher.
Crashing.
The big man in the house. There he is. Oh, Prongs, Big Daddy, what's up?
Going on?
Oh,
How goes it?
that is legitimate. Oh, and he brings us some luck, Prongs. I don't know if you're watching, but we scored again.
Thank you, Mr. Pronger.
How you doing, Prongs?
I'm good. And Chaser, how you doing? I was just listening to you regale Nasher with some stories.
Yeah, I was trying to bring a little life to this show.
And Prongs, nothing's changed. He can still talk a starving dog up a meat wagon, this guy. My ears are bleeding. I feel like Rudy Postcheck is here.
Hey, Prongs, I don't mind him saying that you laughing's pissing me off, okay? Just be careful, because I'm coming back home tomorrow.
Oh,
Look at that perfect
Salt
hockey
Lake.
stop right there. That's awesome.
That's in Salt Lake right there, Prongs.
That is right there. Beautiful Salt Lake City right there.
What do you remember about that, Prongs? Tell us.
Well, actually, right near where I'm stopping, Teemu Selanne hit me from behind and split me for about 8 stitches. But don't worry, I got my revenge.
No.
As you may or may not know.
I don't believe it. I've never seen him. I remember when Twister and I had to take you aside and tell you to leave our Slovak friends alone because you were just like, they weren't playing hard enough for you and you were just pounding on them at practice and we're like, Prongs, enough. Like, they're on our team. We need them to play tomorrow. Like, they better start playing or every practice is going to be like that. And we're like, all right, settle down.
Prongs, I remember a story. I know I was talking to Chaser about it before, but it was your broken foot story. I think it was the story that when you won the Hart Trophy, I think there was like a rebound by Turek or someone, one of our goalies, I can't remember, but Blakey walked into one, hit you right in the foot. Can you tell us that story a little bit from what you remember?
Yeah, there was a soft dump in. I believe you're getting the goalie mistaken. It was Jamie McLennan.
Oh, Noodles!
The $1 million bartender. Somebody flipped it in softly, and I was like coming back for it. I'm like, right here, Noodles, right here. And he panicked and kicked it straight out. And I look and I see Rob Blake coming right down the heart, right down the slot. I'm like, oh, I got to go out and block this and eat one. And it hit me right in the foot, broke my foot. And I'm like, I just turn around, I look at Noodles, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know, I got nervous. You're talking too loud. and after Blakey took the shot and I blocked it and the thing went flying all over the place because he hit me so hard. He just looked at me and I just shook my head and he's like, sorry.
Well, we got someone coming on the show here. We got another Nash Crasher, Prongs.
Oh!
Oh, there he is! Noodles!
The Noodler.
What's up?
How are you,
I've
big
got
boy?
to defend myself. I'm good, but I want to defend myself in that story when he broke his foot because it was a penalty kill and the puck had been shot from the point and it was rolling in and it was spinning. And you said, hey, kick it over here. So I just gently brushed it over towards you and it exploded off my stick. And then, yes, and you told the story right because Blakey skated into it and hammered it and it hit you in the foot. This was about 10 minutes left in the first period. You skated right down the tunnel. I was almost crying in the net because you turned back, you used the F word and you said, wake up.
Mistakenly. I never used that.
And then the other thing that you did is after the first period, I came in and I sat in my stall and I was so rattled and I could see you sitting in Ray Borelli's, like, you know, his chair there with ice on your foot and you were giving me the finger and you were so mad at me. And I was, keep in mind, I played like 2 games a year and I got a big start and here you're going to win the Hart. And I've broken your foot. I was so rattled. The other thing, too, 2 days later, we were going to L.A., and you had to wear a boot. And you were so mad at me. You're like, I got to wear a boot in L.A.
We had a big trip coming up.
Well, yeah, walking around the sand with a boot on.
You were wearing a boot and a thong on the Santa Monica Beach.
Noodles, remember this? This is my favorite. Minute and 47 seconds left. Minute and 47 seconds gone on a power play. There's 13 seconds left. Out comes the mule to take Prongs off the ice. Chris McAlpine. Okay? He comes to the bench. He's losing his mind on Jimmy Roberts because Jimmy Roberts has decided to put Mule out on the ice for 13 seconds left, and he's yelling at him, "There's a power play!" And Jimmy goes, "I know you've been out there a minute 47 seconds. He goes, "That's right. There's 13 seconds left."
And meanwhile, everybody on the back of their jersey has sunflower seeds because Jimmy's been spitting them while he's yelling.
We just said that before you got on. I got a question for Jamie. Am I right in my research? I know you played for the Grizzlies, but weren't the Grizzlies playing in the Delta Center when you were here with them?
I had 2 tours of duty in Salt Lake City, and one was with the Salt Lake City Golden Eagles, and there were 18 people that would show up, and it wasn't my family.
That was the Salt Palace days, right?
That's right.
No, actually, we played at the Delta Center.
Okay.
Oh, you
and
did?
Butch Goring would have his blazer on and no belt, no socks, and some deck shoes. He'd be standing in the doorway yelling at the ref. It would echo. He'd be yelling and swearing. Our team we were a gong show. We didn't have a great team, but I will say there was a bar called the Green Parrot.
Oh, yeah,
that we
I
would
brought
hang
it up
out
this
at
morning.
all the time. It was awesome. Honestly, I had 2 tours of duty in Salt Lake City. I loved the city. I actually had a chance to call a game there in October, near the end of October, at the start of the season. It was Ottawa, Utah. And it was amazing to see how much the city had grown. But the support the team has, like it's going to be an unbelievable, and it already is. I mean, Nash, you guys can speak to it. It's an unbelievable setup there. And now they're going to have the expansion to the rink and all that. Everybody kind of walked me through it. It's going to be an unbelievable setup. They've got a young, talented team, which you talked about, Chris. But I love Salt Lake City. Like I say, I wasn't there for full seasons because I got called up and sent down and all that fun stuff. But I lived on Redwood Road, and I didn't realize it was a gritty area out there.
Yes, it is.
Back then there was like gang territory, and I was like, I would roll in my old like Chevy Blazer. I think they thought I was a crazy person. They're like, why is this person living here? Because it cost me $200 a month. That's why I was trying to save them.
No chance.
I was trying to save.
There's
some
no
money.
chance he was trying to save $1. Noodles, you're looking good, man. You look like a movie star. Look at those teeth.
You're not sucking on tea bags anymore. You got to the whitening strips, eh? And Prongs, what are you laughing at? You finally got your gap fixed.
Now look at what's he talking about. He just got something put in. Do you have your teeth in? Look at me.
Kidding?
You got no kidding. He shows up at our event in St. Louis there. He's got half a mouth of teeth. He's got 6 teeth in his mouth and 3 in his pocket. And he's talking to us about our teeth.
You know what? Anything to draw away from the nose.
That's exactly right. Can you believe? Hey, Noodles, can you believe, and you've been in TV your whole career since you retired, can you believe they put him on the profile? I mean, you can't even see my right shoulder from where you guys are right now.
Honestly, when I stand behind him, I can see his nose.
Thank you guys. My God, I can't thank you guys enough. You guys are the best. Old school. Love the stories. Appreciate you, boys.
Over and out.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it. Good seeing you.
Thanks,
Good chatting, guys.
I could do this all day.
Chaser.
Razor.
Plugging in.
Ray Dog is in the house, I believe. Ray Whitney, are you with us, buddy?
I'm here, Nasher. I'm here. Nice to see you guys.
Buddy, so good to have you. Ray, I got to ask you, too. I know we've talked a lot about this over the years. I mean, people always told me, not good enough, not fast enough, not big enough. I mean, clearly, you had some of the same conversations from your career, young to old. But did you use that as fuel for your fire?
Yeah, that's where that little man syndrome comes in, I guess. You know, it's a big FU to most people. I've been told my whole life I was too small to play. I wasn't going to play junior. That worked out pretty well for me. I wasn't going to play pro. You know, that worked, but that doesn't mean it doesn't come with some warts. I mean, a lot of the young players, like I'm as big as Cooley and Kells and these guys, but they didn't have to play in that era where nobody wanted to give those players an opportunity. And I'm always thankful for a guy like Theoren Fleury. I think he's the best small guy that's played our game in the last 40 years. I think he's the most competitive, and his story is amazing. But I think I owe my career, and anybody who's my size, Marty St. Louis, all those guys from the 90s, we owe our careers to Theoren Fleury, because if he doesn't dominate the way he is at his size, we don't get those opportunities as young small guys. I mean, I had 185 points and I still didn't get drafted until 23rd overall, where, you know, if you look at it from that aspect, you're like, well, what more did I need to do to go higher than that?
Right.
And, you know, and there's guys that had half as many points getting drafted at 10 and 12, and but they were bigger. So I always had that up my sleeve. I was always a pissed off guy when it came to that, Nasher. And when I remember walking in one day, I walked into one of my meetings before the draft, and I had a piece of foam in my pocket, and I was interviewing with St. Louis at the time. They didn't have a first round pick. I think they didn't pick till 26, but at the end, they said, do you have any questions for me? And I pulled out this little piece of foam, it was about 1.5 inches. And I said, yeah, what does this mean to you guys? And none of them had an answer. And I said, that's how tall the guy who's going to go number 2 overall. That's how much taller he is than me. So keep that in mind. And then I walked out.
That is unbelievable.
It's powerful.
Yeah. So,
dude.
Yeah.
I've never heard that story. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. You definitely had some coconuts, man. You were not afraid, and you backed it up. That was the thing. That's why you could have that confidence, right? Because you were that good.
Yeah. Well, I always thought it was. I had to convince other people all the time, but that's fine. That makes you a better person. That makes you a better. You appreciate what you've accomplished. You appreciate the efforts that went through it, you know, to get there, and you appreciate all the people that have helped you along the way. And I've always been very thankful for that. And on this Thanksgiving weekend, I can say that honestly, I've been very thankful for the teammates and the coaches, good and bad, because you need both to be able to learn and grow as a player. And I think I was able to do that with all the coaching I had, with the good and the bad, and the bought out of the contracts, the put on waivers, the All-Star games. I've basically done everything possible when it comes to the game of hockey. I've experienced everything. So there's nothing a player could say to me that I haven't been a part of and have some kind of feeling for them. So I'm very proud of that, and it's something I can rely on going forward, I think.
Well, Razor, we so appreciate it. You're one of the best humans I know. I appreciate you helping us out here tonight on our first ever Nashcast. You're our first ever guest. I know you got a big dinner, I'm sure.
Thanks for JR. I'll send JR a thank you.
Thanks, Ray.
Hall of Famer, Mike Modano, person, player, obviously the best American-born player to ever play the game. Most goals, most points. Where do we begin? A Stanley Cup. 1,499 games. We're going to get to that story, but 561 goals. I didn't have that many goals in practice, by the way. He also had 92 game-winning goals.
Oh, my
Believe it or
gosh.
not, so he's a big game player. We know that. He's going to let us know. But, buddy, welcome to the show. I miss watching you play, dude. I miss watching you play, but it's good to have you on the show. Nashcast. Could you ever have thought I'd have my own show, Mike? You left us in Scottsdale. Where are you now? You're in Minnesota, is that right? Working for the Wild?
Yeah, tropical Minnesota. So yeah, we full circle. 35 years later, here I am back where it started. So we love it. Love the community. Love the people. You know, I think we always thought we'd raise our kids back in the Midwest, and whether it be Michigan, where I was from, or St. Louis, where Allison's from, but. You know, we kind of zeroed in on Minnesota, obviously, the connection with the Wild and everything else, the history, and a lot of friends and family on Allison's sides here. So it worked out great. It's been great. Really nice.
Oh, we got a scrap. I love it. Who's he fighting, McBain?
Jack McBain.
Who's he fighting, Mike?
Jake
Who's
Middleton.
that?
Middleton.
Oh, Boehner. Nice right.
Oh, wow. Took a
Middleton's
couple.
coming. Oh, baby.
Look at the stash
getting
on
old.
Middleton. He's coming back. This is kind of old school
Like
right
Rocky.
here.
Ooh,
Old-fashioned punch in the face contest.
I didn't think McBain had that in him.
He's got that dog in him.
Mike, did you ever get in a
Costco hot
fight?
dog in him.
You never had a fight in your career, did you?
I think I had one. Brindamore. It was over real fast. I'm like,
Brindamore.
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
Holy
wrong
moly.
door there.
Whoops.
That's when we were 18. I'm like, they don't pay me enough to do that too. So I'm pumping out my job description. That's over and done with.
Just stick to scoring goals. You were pretty darn good at it, so just stick to that.
It was 2 hits. He hit me and I hit the ice.
Fortnell on the deck, but right at the blue line. Here is St. Louis Rod Brindamore and the North Stars Mike Modano. Two unlikely candidates to get into it here at the line. And it didn't last very long. I did not see what triggered that.
Well, Brindamore caught Modano with one right in the nose.
Yep.
See Modano bleeding.
Now trainer Dave Supernaut will have to come out.
Hey, Mike, I got to ask you, first overall pick, I mean, you played in Prince Albert. You were the reason I went to the WHL. I remember Kamloops brought me in. I'm sitting at the old Memorial Coliseum in Kamloops, and I watch you. You come out, you're flying around the ice, jersey flapping. I'm like,
Hair flowing in the wind.
Who is that guy? I want to play in this league. I want to be that guy. Obviously, I wore that number 9 myself pretty darn well, if you remember. But tell us about the draft. 18 years old, the Minnesota North Stars. I mean, your rookie season, 29 goals, dude. Like, easy game.
It was a whirlwind year that year. I came back from the World Juniors in Moscow, and they came out with the ratings for the draft, and I was like, I didn't know what a rating was. I didn't know what the draft was, pretty much. You know, you're just so naive, and you don't have much coverage, obviously, like you do nowadays. So, you know, the Prince Albert Herald's about, 4 pages thick, so you get a little bit of a half page on the back page of what's going on. So at that point, it was myself and Trevor Linden going the rest of the way until the draft, and Lou Nanne was sneaky about it. He wasn't telling either one of us who he was going to choose, and so I think it really kind of came down to the last minute. So, but yeah, it was a whirlwind June. Had the draft, got my braces off. Had my
Look
the
at
whole
that
thing.
kid.
So it was a busy June.
Hey, did you get stung by a bee there, or what happened? Look at those cheeks. You get your wisdom teeth out?
Oh, God. That Canadian cooking.
Hey, Dallas didn't know what was coming for them. Hey, Mike.
Too many pierogies up there in Canada. But yeah, it was, and the Minnesota thing. I loved my time there with the North Stars, and it was just we're devastated about the move to Dallas. Really didn't think it was going to happen, but every 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 things you go through, there's always a lining on the other side. So my time in Dallas was phenomenal, and our teams were great, and we had just such a great run, great coaches, great players. So I couldn't be more excited about my time there, and really starting Dallas hockey in Dallas. And that's kind of really where a lot of that growth from the USA Hockey, Gretzky started it going to LA, and it spread through the Southwest, and then into Florida and Dallas. So, our pool to pull some USA players got bigger, but yeah, there's a lot of pride in what we did in Dallas and how we turned that town into a hockey town.
Well, that's one of my biggest questions. I mean, honestly, what Wayne Gretzky did, right? It started with Gretz. He goes to LA from the Edmonton Oilers, and then obviously we explode in the NHL, teams in Anaheim, teams in Florida, and then obviously Texas. But dude, you were the guy. You were the poster child. You were Mike Modano. Are you kidding me? Brett Hull. I mean, you guys brought a Stanley Cup to Texas. How hockey grew in the United States. I know everyone talks about the miracle and all that stuff, but we didn't play. I know I talked to you about this before, and I'm like, I didn't play hockey because I wanted to play for Team Canada. I mean, that was never going to happen, but because they weren't NHL players. If you played for Team Canada or Team USA, you didn't make the NHL. I wanted to play for the Edmonton Oilers. I'm sure you grew up in Michigan. You wanted to play for the Detroit Red Wings, right?
Yeah, that was the thing, because you knew that USA Hockey and the whole Olympic experience was basically for college kids. And, in 1980 was really a year that we stood out for us kids. We're all 10, 11 years old at the Silver Stick tournament in Port Huron, where life seemed to stop. Everybody congregated in the lobby watching a little 15-inch black and white in the corner, and Al Michaels, calling the game. And so that was really kind of what, got our wheels turning about, what USA Hockey was. But, we get into the NHL, we knew, well, those opportunities aren't going to come after the World Juniors because, NHL players weren't allowed. But, once the 98 thing started, and in 96, this whole best on best thing started happening. So I think it was fitting that you had the best players in the world playing against each other in an international setting. So I think that's really what kind of got that whole thing started. But it was a big part of our growing up. You always wanted to have a chance to play for Team USA, but like you said, I grew up in Detroit, and I just wanted to play for the Red Wings and play down at Joe Louis and be a part of that organization for so long. So that was my goal.
Mike, I guess just the whole, 2002, what was it like, Salt Lake City? I mean, did you ever imagine that there'd be an NHL team here in Salt Lake?
I didn't really. I thought, you're always looking at Houston. We always felt Seattle at some point would get one, and they deservedly so got one. So you always think, everything west of the Mississippi, where's your big cities? Where are you going to fit them in? And, I thought Salt Lake was always a sleeper. You had one team in town, and it was the Jazz. But going back there sometimes in the winter, we spent a lot of time in the summer, a lot of kids playing, a lot of young kids playing hockey, and, the game's there. So in a minor situation. So our minor team in Dallas was there quite a bit for a few years. And, so there's always some transplants. There's always some people itching to have that type of game. And the response you guys have gotten, obviously coming in there, and the ownership willing to do anything to make it work says a lot. So I'm sure it's a big novelty. People are excited to be there. And, you win over some new fans and people that haven't been introduced to hockey, that once they go to a game at that facility, at that arena, they'll be bit by the bug, and they'll want to be there all the time. So it's sometimes new to have a clean slate and bring in some new fans, and we did that in Dallas, and still they're season ticket holders 25 years later. So it's been a good experience, and I'm sure it will be in Salt Lake.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you, Mikey. I so appreciate you coming on, buddy. You're the best. Hall of Fame freaking player, Hall of Fame person, dude. I love you, man. Thank you.
Always good seeing you, bud.
Thanks,
Take
Mike.
care.
All right, we are back. We are here with the architect, Bill Armstrong. He was just admiring his picture there on the board. You're burning up the phones there.
Yeah, that's a lot of trades going on at that point, yeah. But it was good.
Wow, Bill, we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Me and you together. It's been a long time. We're a long way from the mullet. I mean, do you ever kind of give yourself a chance to take a breath a little bit and realize, I mean, it was almost a year to the day that the team that was announced, and you're here. You had an unbelievable season, came up a little bit short.
Yeah.
But my goodness, you've been through a lot.
It's shocking that it's only been a year. If you look out to the stands and you see everybody in the jerseys chanting, it's like we've been here for 10 years. But really, truly, it hasn't even been a year yet. And it's just spiraled. It's one thing after another. It was right into the meetings with the owners, right into starting to build the team. It was right into the draft, free agency, development camp, and then trying to move here after that. So it's been a whirlwind. But I've really enjoyed coming to Utah and the passion of the fans and them embracing us. And it's been a great thing.
One of my favorite memories from last year was you guys arriving at the airplane hangar, full of kids, right? I mean, when you think about like what's going to happen with the Learn to Play program and the explosion of youth hockey, it's going to be a lot more kids playing hockey in Utah. Does that get you pretty fired up?
It does. Just adding 2 new rinks to the community is going to be an amazing thing. We went and toured it the other day. It's spectacular. But since the moment we get off the plane, and we're looking at that right now, it's like I had tears. I was so emotionally choked up because we're in this whirlwind of getting off the plane. Next, boom, we see these kids chanting, and then next thing you know, we were here, and there's like 18,000 people in here going nuts with 4,000 outside. So I still get emotional when I look at that clip.
Well, we got to go way back. I mean, Kyla sent us some pictures, so she did us a massive favor. We got to go back to the Providence days, though.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I played against you, and I actually just talked to Hal Gill.
Did you?
Before the game. He goes, that guy was my defense partner. Wasn't for long. But I'll tell you what, that guy was an absolute beast. He had the black mouth guard. Here you are. He goes, he scared the crap out of everybody. I mean, look at the numbers. 1,443 PIMs. The stats, not bad.
No, it's not bad. Listen, it was a good run. It's weird thinking about playing because it's been so long ago. But it's funny, the habits I had, my love for my teammates that I had, and the way that I prepared every day, it hasn't really changed. As a GM, I fight every day, in some way and capacity, and I always thought I try to take care of my teammates. But
you wore the A.
Yeah, and I always thought, like I see my teammates around the rinks, and they come up and give me hugs, and that's the most respect that you can ever get. So these are going way back in the days. Yeah, Richmond Hill, that's awesome stuff. Yeah, that's where my boys were in my hometown, and we still hang out to this day. They actually, these guys are the Utah Mafia. They come in and they have head to toe. You'll see them with Utah stuff on. So we're still close. But I really valued my teammates, and even like the people I work with today, I still think of them in the same way. And it's really all about the people you work with and what they bring, and you trying to make them better. And back in the day, I had to protect people to make them better along with what you did in your career, and I try to do the same thing with what I do today.
So you got into coaching. Obviously, you started as an assistant coach. You coached a few more years after that. What's the transition? When did you know you wanted to be a general manager?
Whew, that's a good question. I went through a whole roundabout way.
Not a bad resume.
No, and I got into coaching, and I loved coaching, and then I got to a point in coaching where I didn't want to move the family anymore. And I had a friend of mine that was into scouting, and he said, you should try it. And again, Peter Laviolette was working with Larry Plow, and there was a job with the Blues, and they called me. It was a strike year, so it was hard to get a job. And once I had that job, I just dove in, and I went from part-time scout to regular scout, getting paid full wages and traveling, to crossover to head scout to assistant GM and landing here. But I didn't really understand that I had a lot of the pieces to be a GM until Florida called and wanted to interview me, and I sat in that room and I was like, hey, I got a lot of the pieces that you need to be a GM, and that really spurred me on. And after that point, Florida's actually a president actually had called Arizona and said, hey, you didn't get the job here, but this is your guy. So, and that's how I ended up in Arizona. And thank God I've done all those jobs before I got them, because it's a taxing job, and you have a massive staff, and you've got to know how to manage people. And really, my forte is drafting. So I went right into building the staff right away. That was my first thing, is how do we create the best, amateur staff in the NHL. And we were lucky. We were going through COVID, and teams wanted to reduce some payroll. So we jumped in and grabbed some really good scouts, and that was kind of the start of the Dylan Gunthers, the J.J. Mosers, the Doans, the Lillebergs, all coming through at the start, and got us off the ground.
Right here. This gives me absolute goosebumps.
Yeah.
What did this feel like? What's it take to win one of those, and how far is this team away from that?
There's a lot of building that went on to that. That was 18 years, I think, of work with the Blues to get to that point, and we did the rebuild. For us, you're going to see the transition. We're, disappointed we didn't make playoffs because that was our goal. But we're also trying to get better, and we did that in almost every category. If you look at our numbers underneath, we're healthy in every single number, and we were pressing. We want to get to 91 points this year. That's kind of our goal. We thought that would get us in. Obviously, St. Louis went on a run, but to answer your question, we're about 5 years away from maxing out and competing at the highest level possible with our kids, because you're talking about Logan Cooley and Dylan Guenther being at that right age. And you're going to see a lot of kids come through the door in the next few years. It's going to be exciting. From McGinley to Boot to Simashev to Harabel to Colbadon, you're going to see a ton of talent come through the door, and that's because we stockpiled so many picks and went at it, and we're only starting. If we do it right, we're going to add 2 great players every year to our roster, and we're going to keep drafting away.
You're selling free agents to come here.
Yeah.
Ownership, Ryan and Ashley Smith.
Oof.
I mean, it's an easy sell, isn't it?
Well, put it this way. I'm going to put it on me on this one. We got one of the best owners in sports. We got an incredible city to play in that has passion for us. We've got an elite practice facility coming in September 1st that sits in the mountains. It's just spectacular. The quality of life, our coaching staff. We've got young players. We've got 2 guys that are 2 of the youngest players in the National Hockey League. 50 points, over 50 points this year. It's a bright future for us. So we're gonna go at it, and I think we have a chance to attract some of the best free agents in the game because of having one of the best owner and everything that he's done in a short period of time in Utah. It's very exciting.
I'm free. I'm available. I'm available.
We'd love to have you, big guy.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. Everything you do.
Yeah, you too, my friend.
Clark Kent in the house. And by the way, we got a podcast coming. We got a podcast.
I'm in.
We're going to have Bill on again, but you better get up there and watch this second period. Get
Thanks,
the boys
guys.
going.
Let's get the win tonight.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, this is one you don't want to miss. This is the biggest personality in the game, maybe to ever play the game. This guy could stir it up. He could back it up. This guy could literally play any way you wanted. You wanted to skill it up, he could skill it up. You wanted to rough it up, he could rough it up. He could drop the gloves. 514 goals, folks. 1,216 points. Finally got him into the Hall of Fame this past season. Long overdue. He blew us off. He was supposed to be our first ever guest on the Nashcast. He blew us off. But we finally got my good buddy, the White Whale, the Golden Goose, our Golden Goose. We also had a Hall of Fame Nash Crasher on the show. So for Jeremy Roenick, who always wears his heart on his sleeve, we had some tears, but we had some laughs. You certainly don't want to miss this one, folks.
Do we have a lineup tonight for you guys? Nashcast came in hot and heavy. Jeremy Roenick.
The headliner.
The headliner, Hall of Famer, Gonzo.
Yikes. Yeah, I guess Saturday Junior came early, and gosh, there's just other things to do. I don't know.
Big things when you're a Hall of Famer. I guess you gas your friends, right?
You know what's interesting? I think he was worried he'd have more appearances on Nashcast than he does Stanley Cup rings. I think that was sort of the deal breaker there.
Yeah. And hold the phone. Hold the phone. We just got a JR, Jeremy Roenick, sent an apology video.
Yo.
Hey guys, I am really sorry. I thought I would have all the time in the world to do this show tonight. Unfortunately, I have so many friends and family in town for Thanksgiving that everything got away from me, and I'm just gonna miss out. I'm so sorry, but I will make a rain check and come back with my boy Tyson Nash, who's one of the best in the business. I promise I will be back to have some fun with you guys. I really apologize that I had to bail out tonight, but it is Thanksgiving. I know you all understand. Have a great rest of your year, and thank you guys for understanding. Go Utah!
Love it. At least he said go Utah. Thank you, JR. You are off the hook for now. Jeremy Roenick, Boston's own, Chicago, Phoenix, Philadelphia, the LA Kings, the San Jose Sharks. How about 1,216 points? How about 513 goals? 9-time All-Star. Won a silver medal, Austin.
I'm getting dizzy with all these accomplishments. Holy cow.
Right here in Salt Lake City. Didn't win the gold because Canada took it home. Sorry, JR. But the biggest personality in the game. And Hall of Famer, my brother, welcome to the show.
Oh, what an amazing introduction, you guys. I can't even thank you enough for. I'm sitting over here, I'm patting myself on the back. You guys made me feel so good.
Oh, dude, I
this is,
love you. The golden goose. You shut us down twice, but we got the white whale. You are our white whale. We got you on the show, buddy.
You know what? I was very disappointed that I couldn't do it. I felt terrible that I had to cancel on you, Nasher, but you are one of my favorite teammates of all time, one of my favorite friends of all time. That's not a secret. And you know I would make it once in a while, but this is even better. You got my two ex-teams playing against each other, and it couldn't be a better game for me to be on with you guys.
So you didn't bail on us the first time because of the mustache, right? It had nothing to do with that, JR?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one, okay?
I thought it would make my nose look smaller, but JR, that's never going to happen, by the way. But I got to tell you, the first time I ever played against you, I know you don't remember this.
Chicago, number 91.
I certainly do.
2 minutes for holding.
Is this St. Louis?
I was with St. Louis, and you were with Phoenix. And I come up to the dot, and I'm lining up against you. I'm like, oh my God, do I got to slash this guy, whack him, punch him? You were my favorite player in the world, by the way, at that time, right? I mean, the way you played, all that stuff. And you come up to me, and you hit me in the shin pads, and you go, Nasher, I absolutely love what you're doing. I love the way you play. You got massive balls. Keep it up. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is Jeremy Roenick. It was the best ultimate compliment. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I was
That's awesome.
So pumped up.
It's definitely something that I would do for sure, because I loved hard-nosed players. I love guys that played the game right. And for sure, you were one of those guys that played the game right. Listen, you got a lot out of your game. You got a lot out of other people. I'll tell you what, you were a great teammate, but you were a pain in the ass to play against, Nasher. That's for sure.
Well, that's probably why I have this nose. It's not an elbow on my face, but JR, I got to ask you, the Hall of Fame, dude, we have all in the hockey world been chirping for so long. Theo Fleury, no McGillney, no Keith Tkachuk. Where the hell is Jeremy Roenick, and why is he not in the Hall of Fame? I mean, 12 long years, buddy. The phone finally rang. Congratulations. But what was that feeling finally for you? Because it was so well-deserved.
It was beyond description. You know, Nashy, you've known me a long time. And you know, you do everything that you can for your team. You do everything you can for the league. You try to give them your best hockey. You give them hard hockey, big goals, big plays. You know, you give them good microphone, you know, things that they can get excited about. And it's one of the great things that I loved about the game. But unfortunately, you know, I could have probably taken it to a level that maybe a lot of people didn't like. And, you know, there are ramifications for being overly truthful, to be overly expressive, I guess. And sometimes in a game that is very, very conservative, where they don't like other people showing off or thinking that they're bigger than the game or looking like they're bigger than the game. You know, especially the powers that be that are older, that are more old school. I think, you know, there was a long time where I'm like, you know, he's just not one of us. He's, you know, regardless of what all the you know, what is needed to go into the Hall of Fame, whether it's winning a Stanley Cup or winning a trophy or anything, any of the accolades that you need. You know, I just think I wasn't my best representation, maybe, that the Hall of Fame was looking for, because that is a very unique and very, it's a very prestigious group. It really is. You go into that room, Nasher, and it takes your breath away seeing all the names on that wall. And I understand that. And I was frustrated. I'll tell you the most frustrating thing is how many people came up to me in the course of the year. How come you're not in the Hall of Fame? When are you going to be in the Hall of Fame? How come you're not in the Hall of Fame? I'm like, I don't know. It's not me. You know, when I did get that call, it was like, it took me by surprise. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't expecting it. I think for the first time in 12 years, I've kind of given up hope, so I wasn't expecting it. And I think that's why it hit me so hard, and why it was so wonderful how it hit my heart. I cried like a crazy person. I couldn't even speak on the phone to Lanny McDonald and Mike Gartner. I couldn't even grab my coffee out of the Starbucks line. It was one of those that just overtook me, my gratitude and how thankful I was. And, you know, it humbles you. And, yeah, it's really changed my life, to tell you the truth. I couldn't be more proud or more happy or have more gratitude to be able to be a part of that group.
JR, I got to ask you about Doug Wilson. Again, the speech, you called him your angel. Can you just talk to us a little bit about Doug and the impact he had on your career?
Yeah, you know, leaving Arizona, actually, I should go back. Leaving Philadelphia and missing 2004, 2005 season, I had a really massively major concussion with getting hit with the puck, breaking my jaw in 22 places, and then getting another concussion in game 3 or game 4 of the conference finals against Tampa Bay. We missed the whole season. I got traded. I accepted a trade to LA. Was not in the right mind frame, was really mad at the league, was mad at losing the amount of money that I lost because of another contract talk break, lockout. I went to LA and I wasn't very good, Nasher. I just, there's a lot of the reasons why I wasn't good. It wasn't just me. There were some intangibles. I had a trainer who was the worst skate sharpener on the planet. I never felt comfortable on my wheels. I'm not gonna pull punches. I was very particular about how I liked my blades. Just ask Stan Wilson how bad how many times I'm sitting in his office making sure he did my blades right and sharpened them right so I could stand up when I had the puck. But in LA, it didn't seem like the guy could figure me out. So that hurt me. Then I went to Arizona, and I was actually in real good shape, but kind of realized that Kretz and the Coyotes brought me in more to sell tickets than to really have an effect on the ice. And that kind of put me into a weird spot. And then at the end of the Coyote season in 2007, in 2007, I'm 4 goals shy of 500. 4 goals coming up, away from Arizona. And nobody's calling me. July 1st happens. Nobody's calling. August 1st, nobody's calling. Now I'm here sitting. Nobody wants me anymore. Like I've had 2 seasons. I'm an egomaniac. Nobody wants that. And I really went into the doldrums. I started drinking heavily. I wasn't doing anything right that I was supposed to do. My family didn't like being around me. It was just, I was just going on a deep dive down. I'm like, is this how my career is going to end? It was very depression-like. And I don't know whether it was Tracy, my wife, or whether it was my agent or somebody that told Doug Wilson what was going on. And he called me up and said, listen, I need you to come out to San Jose and see me. And he saw that I was struggling, that he knew that he was in a place, in a situation, in a role where he could pretty much save me, give me a spot to prove myself different, to save my career. And, he gave me 3 rules. He gave me the one rule: I have to play for the minimum, which was 500. And obviously money wasn't the issue for me. Number 2, no media, right? And that was my problem. Oh, dude, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then the last one was I couldn't drink for the entire season. No wine, no beer with the boys, no spirits, nothing. And I had a beer in my hand sitting in the golf cart, and I never took my eyes off his eyes. I dumped the whole beer out, dropped the can, and shook his hand. And I couldn't have been more happy. And I had 2 phenomenal seasons with San Jose. I think as a 4th liner, I scored 15 goals and 42 points in my first year in San Jose as a 4th liner. They signed me to another year of $1 million the next year, and I got hurt at the end of the year, but still finished with some good points and some being a role model. It was being a good leader, being a good grandfather for the young kids. It was a great way to finish my career.
Hey JR, we got a special guest that wants to Nash crash. We like to call it. He wants to join the interview here, so please welcome in. I think you might know this guy.
Hey Jeremy, how are you?
Don't make me cry now.
How's my old roommate doing?
Come on, man.
I have one question. When I gave you those three things, which was tougher? No media or no beer?
The media, for sure. The media. That's one that got me. That's the one that got me the most. Doug, I'm so happy to see you guys. This is like the best. Like, I did not expect this whatsoever. Doug, good to see you, my friend. How are you? Thank you for doing this.
Jeremy, you know how I feel about you. I love you, and I'm so proud of you. And it's great to see you, great to hear your voice and get the acknowledgement that you deserve. I've been around a lot of people in this game. I'm not sure anybody loved the game or played harder than you. And since you came in as an 18-year-old till now, I'm you know how I feel. I'm just so proud of you.
Thanks, buddy. That's it.
I love it. I love it. You guys both look like you can play, for God's sake. What's going on?
You go through a career and you never know where it's going to lead you. And for me, there's so many different parts of my career, guys, that I'm really proud of. And there's some that I'm not proud of at all. And, there are certain things where I had to have some people step up and say, hey, listen, no, you're not doing that. No, you can't do that. And there's sometimes where I wish I needed and I had somebody like Doug or like Chelly that said, no, you got to come back. And you have to, and you can't do that. There's more important things than you, more important things than what you're doing. Let's focus and get back to work. And, and I think Doug was one of those guys that was one of those people. When I came into the league at 88, himself and Michel Goulet, Steve Larmer, and Keith Brown, these guys were, Stevie Conroy, these guys were the guys that taught me how to do that. Unfortunately, I kind of strayed away. There's no question, and it's kind of how everything come back. And Doug brought me back, right? He brought me back into that mentality, and I love you so much, and I do truly believe that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
Well, Jeremy, I'll tell you, that's the great thing about hockey. I had people like Stan Mikita and Keith Magnuson that were there for me, and they gave me the direction after I lost my father. My father was very young, and I could have gone down the right side of the road instead of the left, and all they ever asked me to do was pay it forward. And it was my privilege to pay it forward to you, and you'll pay it forward to other people, and that's what makes this game so special.
Doug, I got to ask you, how did you know back then that JR still had lots left in the tank? I mean, you're still the general manager. You're still trying to, win a Stanley Cup, but you obviously believed in JR.
Well, when he flew out to see me in San Jose, we were out at Cordobal Golf Club, he showed up a couple of pounds, well, maybe a couple more than a couple of pounds over his playing weight.
Got stung by a bee.
I think he tried to convince me that he'd been stung by a bee recently.
No, I got stung. I got bit by a swarm of ticks.
But when we talked about it, the one thing, when I met him when he was 18, he had it in his eyes. There was a desperation, but his love for the game and what he did from that day to get ready for the season was incredible. And people, when you look at it, he scored 14 goals. 10 of them were game winners.
Wow.
Imagine that, Tyson. 10 out of those 14 goals are game winners. We've got a Game 7 against Calgary. In Calgary, he scores 2 goals and 2 assists. So when somebody has that thing in them, Tyson, you've had teammates like this. You've been around people that are special, that they just have that fortitude and that compete off the charts. He had that when he came in as an 18-year-old. I mean, he scored, I don't know what you had, 18 points, 8 goals in your first 20 NHL games.
Yeah.
You're 160 pounds and you're running people over. That was still in him, and we just had to, carve away a little bit, but it came from his heart, and he deserved the opportunity. And as I say, Tracy and Brandy and Brett, your whole family, it was a privilege to be able to pay it forward a little bit and see you get to where you got to.
Unreal stuff. What was he like? I mean, you guys were roommates, were you not? That was your first roommate, wasn't it, JR? I mean, Doug.
Yeah. I was with Doug in I think my first road trip. Doug was my roommate. It was kind of weird to get the KG veteran and the young buck. I have too many concussions. I don't remember too many of the early games and the early road trips, but I'm sure they were. I do remember getting schooled in the poker room by these guys. They taught me poker, and it didn't go over very well. I lost a lot of money because they taught me the wrong way.
JR, we were just looking at this great picture of you at the O2 Olympics here in Salt Lake City. Yeah. What do you remember about playing those games and wearing Team USA colors?
Yeah, it was amazing, and I think this was when I'm asked what my favorite moment of my career was the Olympics, was playing in the gold medal game in 2002 against our arch rivals, the Canadians, playing on home ice. Because it was 1980 that made me want to become a hockey player. Watching Mike Eruzione score that goal against the Russians, listening to Al Michaels say, "Do you believe in miracles?" I mean, that is what American hockey means to me in the Olympics. And here I am on the same stage as Mike Eruzione, playing against the team that always seemed to have our number. You know, hockey is Canada's game, and now we are in the world's biggest game and the biggest stage, and even though we lost, it was an amazing experience. And you know, it was coming off of 9/11, the feeling in the country, everybody rallying around the United States. It was a real special moment to play in these games, and I hope that the guys going into the games next year understand what a platform that the Olympics is, and I'm happy that the league's going back.
Well, boys, I can't thank you guys enough for taking the time and joining our show. I can't believe I have my own show, and my goodness, look, we got 2 Hall of Famers. It's
I can't believe you have your own show either, Nasher. I love it.
No side profiles. It's in my contract, though, boys. Thank you so much, you guys. I love you both. Doug, I'll see you around the neighborhood there. Keep that shirt on, please.
Hey, Nasher, thank you so much for this gift. I'll remember this forever. Doug, thank you for joining me. I love you more than words can say, and this meant the world to me. I really thank you guys for this. This was amazing.
Give Tracy and the kids a hug there.
Yeah, give Kathy a big hug and all the grandbabies and the kids. Tell Dougie Jr. I said, "What's up?"
Love it. Thanks,
See you
boys.
guys.